Hi again everyone, and welcome to part 3 of our Pikachu tracing video. In this part of the video I'm going to show you guys how to fill in all of your colors for Pikachu and complete it and turn it in. When we started this project, we put in our original picture of Pikachu at the very bottom and locked it. Now everything else above that layer is unlocked, so we will be able to move it. What we're going to do is move the outlines over to the right side of our canvas. So I'm going to zoom out slightly by hitting Control or Command minus, and then just space it out so I can see both sides. Using my black arrow, I'm going to click and drag from one corner of my canvas and make sure I grab all of my shapes at the same time, like so. You know you'll grab them all because you see them outlined and active like they are right now. Now all you have to do is click and drag, and when you do click and drag, make sure that you are clicking and dragging over one of the lines that you made. If you try clicking and dragging in an empty area like this, it's just going to deselect it. So you need to make sure that you click and drag from one of your lines, like right here. So I'm dragging my outline to the right side. I want just enough room, and then I will let go. So now we have the original, and then we have the one that we've created on the right side. We are pretty much ready to color at this point. We are going to come across some problems that we'll talk about as we're going, but I think the first thing I want to do to make this a little bit easier is change all of my outline colors to what they're supposed to be over here. Now, I know that this shape, and this shape do not have outlines, so later on, once I'm done with everything else, I can just throw away the borders on those shapes. For now, I'm going to select everything one more time, like so, and I'm going to change the color of my border. I'm going to click on this little green circle, and I'm going to change it to black, just like it is here. I'll click out, and then I'll go ahead and change the border width as well. Right now it's way too thick. So I think I'm going to change it to about a 4. That looks pretty good. Then I will go ahead and click away. Now we are ready to start adding color to all of our shapes. Now we want to do the opposite of what we did when we were creating the shapes with the pen tool. We went from making large shapes to small ones, but when we're coloring, we want to color small shapes first and then move on to the large ones. And I think you guys will figure out why in a little bit once we start. So I'm going to begin by coloring the small parts of the eyes. So if two things are the exact same color, what you can do is click one, hold shift, and then click the second one to get them at the same time. What I'm going to do is first get rid of the border on this because I know that this part of his eyes don't have any borders. So I'll just click the little trash can. I'm going to press plus next to the fills. And then I'm going to click on this little eyedropper tool, which essentially lets you sample a color from anywhere on this canvas. So once I click that, it's going to open this really large circle that says move cursor into canvas. And I can just choose where I'm going to sample my color from. And in this case, it's a small light brown part of his eyes, so I'll just go ahead and click right here. And then you'll immediately see that that has changed. Next, I'll do the dark brown areas. Again, I'll click, hold shift, and click the next one. And I'll do the exact same thing. In this case, I'm throwing the border away because it doesn't have one. Press plus on the fill, and then use your eyedropper tool to get that color once more. Then you're just going to continue like this until we come across, inevitably, a problem. I'm going to go ahead and just color and speed it up. Now, every other shape that I have on my canvas is going to have an outline on it. So when I'm starting to color in like the arms, for instance, if I select those, I'm not going to throw the border away. I want to keep it because I want there to be a black outline. So in this case, I'm just going to go to my fill and add a fill. And then I'm going to use the eyedropper tool again and select the yellow. But we can already see that there is a problem here. The arms have fallen behind this shadow on Pikachu. This might not be the same place where you have this problem occur, but it is going to happen to almost everyone. This is where the idea of construction paper comes in and makes this a little easier to understand. The way that Illustrator and Gravit Designer work is each shape that you create is kind of like a little piece of construction paper. If you make a really big piece and then you have a bunch of small pieces, obviously you would put the small ones on top of the big ones so you can see it. If the big piece is on top of all the small pieces, it's going to cover it and you're not going to be able to see the small pieces. It's the same thing here. So what I want to do now is I want to click on these two arms and I want to move them all the way to the front. There's two ways of doing that. The more complicated or difficult way is to click and drag these all the way to the top, but you can see that we have a lot of shapes. The easiest way is to go to Modify, Arrange, and then Bring to Front. So I can just click that. And now you'll see that the arms are all the way on top. So now I can continue coloring as I was. Next I'll do the cheeks, add a fill, eyedropper, and keep my black borders. I'll go ahead and continue coloring and speed up my video again. Now I am almost completely done with my Pikachu. The very last thing that I need to do is move the tail and then this little color over here all the way to the back. So it's essentially the opposite of what we did before. I'm going to go ahead and select the tail, hold Shift, and select the other color. Then go to Modify, Arrange, and Send to Back. There are a few other ones. There's Bring Forward, which brings it forward step by step. Send Backward will send it back step by step, layer by layer. But these two at the very top and bottom will either send it all the way to the front or all the way to the back. And in this case, I want it all the way to the back, like so. Once you have reached this point, what I want you to do is use the type tool and type your name right in the middle. So click on this T, and then we're going to click and drag a space to type. And you're going to go ahead and just type your name. So I'll type in Miss Manatsakanyan. If you want to make it bigger and change the colors as well, you can feel free to do so, but it doesn't really matter too much to me as long as I can see that you have put your name here. So once you put your name, you're going to go to File, Export, and then Scalable Vector Graphics. So now you're going to be turning in what's called an SVG file. An SVG file is not that different from a Gravit Designer file. It just means that I can open it on my end and I can see all of the different shapes that you've made for your Pikachu. So go ahead and click SVG. Name it last name, first name, Pikachu. And then go ahead and save it wherever you know you're going to find it again. That is it. You are done with your first Illustrator / Gravit Designer project, and I hope you guys have a great one. See you on the next video.